Hello and welcome to GEOSCOPE with me and Ollie Bowler Hatman. Who's up there?
All right.
Hello, Ollie. How you doing? You look like you're
I'm
in
all
a
right. I'm doing
haunted
well.
house again. You've got
Yes, I've
like
still got my spooky background.
you've got your chandelier hanging over you like Only Fools and Horses. Fantastic. Hello to Sarah in the chat and also Dave, Jane, and Matt Spratt, and Joanne and 31 Blaze, and Sarky Bugger and Mustard Dynamo and Alec. Hello. Right, loads to get through tonight. Have you been keeping up with the Trumps?
Oh yes.
So just to explain quickly, basically the Republican Party are failing to get a speaker. Everyone knows this has been going on for ages, and they finally agreed on the secret vote to put someone forward for speaker. And about 10 minutes later, Trump did a whole thing about how much of a dickhead he was and how you shouldn't vote for him. Basically nerfed him.
I even retweeted it out saying, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank you so much for endorsing me." And that's not what he said in the video you've just retweeted.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
So he didn't even bother to watch the video. He just went, "Oh yeah, he's said something about me." Oh, it's brilliant. It's such beautiful carnage.
This whole saga is just insane. Because we're going to roll back to where we were last week.
Yes.
Because last week we had just seen the first vote for Jim Jordan fail. So that was the first vote he'd fail.
Yes.
He would then go on to fail 3 more, meaning and lose more votes. So he wasn't gaining votes; he was losing votes every single time he was going to a vote.
Oh,
so there was no chance at all of him winning. And then he comes out and does this bizarre press conference. And this press conference is basically, look, I am going to be the speaker. I am going to win. Look how fantastic I am, guys. Come on, vote for me. I'm the only choice. An hour later, I kid you not, an hour later, there was a secret Republican backroom meeting. They voted him out. He was no longer the speaker.
You shouldn't laugh, but I will. Oh God, it's painful, isn't it?
It is. It's insane. And there was an interview. I tried to find it because I couldn't find it, unfortunately. But I've seen it out there. I've seen Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney was at this event, and he was asked about this. He said, "What do you think of Jim Jordan?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, Jim Jordan's been in the House for 16 years.
He's never passed a bill.
Never passed a bill, and not even that. Never co-sponsored a bill that's passed."
Wow. So he's done nothing.
He's done nothing.
Thanks, Tim, for the super chat, mate. I'm pretty good. Are you well, Ollie? Are you well?
I am just about. I've got my special tea full of rum to help me knock out this cough.
Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Well, I've just done some dodgy downloading, so hopefully we should be able to show the video in a moment.
Do you want me to give some context while you?
Yes, tell us what happened at one of the Trump. So there are 2 Trump trials that are going on simultaneously at the moment. There's one in New York, and his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, testified at that, and then meanwhile another former lawyer.
Yep, in Georgia.
In Georgia, go on, you tell it.
So a bit of background for the whole Georgia case. This Georgia case in particular is about after Trump lost the election, he did the infamous Georgia phone call to their governor. I think it was like their state's electoral body. And he goes, I just need you to find me a couple more 1,000 votes. That'll win. That's all you need to do. And it was a 3-hour conversation where he is trying to get this guy on board. So this is just like a straight hook, line, and sinker. Trump attempting to try and overthrow the Georgian election result. Like they've got him straight away.
Yeah,
they've really started the trial on this, and not only is Sidney Powell, aka the Kraken, if you may remember that, you may remember a lot of like Trump supporters like Kraken. Trump's going to unleash the Kraken. Like this was the person he was talking about. She's flipped on him.
Yeah.
She's now going to give evidence.
Yeah.
And now you've got a third lawyer flipping on Trump. And this is the video that we're about to see of her flipping on
Well,
Trump.
I thought we were about to see it, but unfortunately, I don't think it's got any sound. There's no sound playing on my controls here, which isn't good. And it's a 23-minute long video, so it's not just the
Oh,
clip.
it's all right. You can
I
skip
thought it
ahead.
was just going to be the clip of her flipping. So I'll tell you what, we'll talk about something else for a bit while I try my best to get another media source for this. I'm sure I can do it pretty quick. I will look for it. But what's particularly funny about this is her name is Jenna Ellis. And she was expecting Trump to pay her legal fees. And Trump literally went, no, after she'd already got herself hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, thinking that he would pay. Because he was like, yeah, I'll sort you out. Has that ever happened to you, Ollie? Has anyone ever said, oh, yeah, I'll sort you out? And then you've gone, okay, it's going to be $300,000. And they've gone, no.
No, I've never been in that situation before, to be honest. But yeah, this is a weird one, this Georgia one, because this is the one that is like guaranteed jail time. It's not like, oh, it's a fine or a jail time, you pick. But this is guaranteed jail time, this Georgia one. And this is why a lot of people say that this is like the serious one. This is the serious charge that he's against. And what's even more incredible about this, if Trump somehow won the American presidential run, he can't pardon himself because it's a state crime.
Yes, the president can only pardon a federal crime. Apparently,
and Georgia actually has taken away the governor's pardoning powers.
And this has got a really funny, interesting story. Do you know the story behind this?
Oh no!
There was a member of the KKK, right, who became governor of Georgia and started going around prisons pardoning people for votes. So he went into prison. He said, will you vote for me? And I'll give you a pardon. And they went, okay, then. And he pardoned like hundreds of people before they got onto him and said, we're going to take away the governor's right to pardon people just in Georgia. I think it's one of the few states where they don't have that right. But it was because of a former Ku Klux Klanman who thought he'll take the mick a little bit.
So that's quite interesting because then no like MAGA supporter can come, riding to Trump's rescue and win the governorship and then pardon him. So
fantastic.
He is on the hook and he is wriggling. He is wriggling something really, really chronic. But yeah, his future there does not look good.
It does not indeed.
And they are trying to really rush forward this trial as well.
So 4 people have flipped now, yeah? Is that right?
3.
No, there's 4. There's another one. There was someone who was kind of like an underling, someone who was just very, very low in the whole thing. I think he was someone who worked in a returning officer or someone who worked in a polling station or something. He wasn't one of the top brass, but of the top brass, we've had Thingy Cheesebro. What a crazy name. And then we got the Kraken, Sidney Powell, and now we've got Jenna Ellis, who's just, I mean, this is phenomenal because RICO cases were invented to take down mobsters who could say, plausible deniability, I never told anyone to kill anyone, I never told anyone to go and rob that convenience store or, that casino or whatever. I didn't personally pull the trigger, so you can't get me. So they set up this racketeering offense. So basically, they can charge loads of people at once, and if one goes down, they all go down. And now you've got 4 people who have pled guilty.
Ironically about this, if you go on Netflix, there is a very good documentary called New York versus the Mob, where it does talk about them taking down the mob. And of course, someone who knows all about RICO cases and appears heavily in that documentary is none other than Rudy Giuliani. Someone else.
Oh, really?
Will probably be finding it hard to, shall we say, get Trump to pay his legal fees as well.
Oh my God. So he did a whole documentary about taking down the mob and how clever he was at that.
Yeah.
And it turned, oh my God. But like he is a proper mobster now, isn't he? I mean, he is like, I don't think anyone's ever going to forget that whole thing where he was like literally sweating buckets as a result of what was going down, and he hadn't. It was his hair stuff he was having problems with, wasn't he?
Then there's the whole thing with the Borat thing, if you remember that.
Oh shit, yeah. So for those of you who are unaware, he basically, how can we put this in a delicate way? He put his hand down his pants in the presence of what he thought was a female news reporter who was interviewing him, and tried to get her to come to bed. And loads of people are like, oh no, but it's just the way it's edited. It's just the way it's. And I'm like, come on, even if they have edited it in a funny way, do you know what I mean? Like, come on, it's a bit wrong. Anyway, do you want to see if we can watch this clip of this lady admitting her crimes against humanity?
Oh yes, go on. Like I say, we can fast forward it.
I don't know. No, I've got another clip. So this it's only a minute long. So here you go.
Thank you, Your Honor, for the opportunity to address the court.
Folks at home can hear this. Me and I don't think Ollie can hear it.
As an attorney who is also a Christian, I take my responsibilities as a lawyer very seriously, and I endeavor to be a person of sound moral and ethical character in all of my dealings. In the wake of the 2020 presidential election, I believed that challenging the results on behalf of President Trump should be pursued in a just and legal way. I endeavored to represent my client to the best of my ability. I relied on others, including lawyers with many more years of experience than I, to provide me with true and reliable information, especially since my role involved speaking to the media and to legislators in various states. What I did not do, but should have done, Your Honor, was to make sure that the facts the other lawyers alleged to be true were in fact true. In the frenetic pace of attempting to raise challenges to the election in several states, including Georgia, I failed to do my due diligence. I believe in and I value election integrity. If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges. I look back on this whole experience with deep remorse. For those failures of mine, Your Honor, I have taken responsibility already before the Colorado bar who censured me, and I now take responsibility before this court and apologize to the people.
There you go. And she apologizes to the people. I think she said she apologizes to the people of Georgia at the end there. That's phenomenal, isn't it? So you were just saying, as she was saying that, sorry, your mic was cut, but you were saying that she was the only one who's read a statement so far.
She's the only one who so far has read a statement.
Yeah.
Sidney Powell hasn't. She was the only one who took that opportunity to do so. I think that was to try and get in the judge's good graces, possibly, not the juries. But oh my, it's
she's really dropped Giuliani in that, because she says that she makes out, and she is right in this. She was a junior lawyer in all this, and she took advice from senior people, i.e. Giuliani. Like, he was not just a senior lawyer, but also the ex mayor of New York City. I mean, this is the guy who was like, America's father, or whatever they called him.
America's mayor.
Yeah, America's mayor, that was it. America's nightmare, more like. See what I did there. But no, it's just, I've got more hope now than ever before that Trump might actually go down for this.
Oh, I think it is.
I don't see how he can get out of it.
I cannot see how he gets out of it. I literally cannot see how he gets out of it. The fact that you've got, like I say, 3 or 4 people flipping against him now.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to flip against him. Trump is not renowned for his loyalty. He's sort of the whole thing with Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson expects you to show loyalty to him, but when it gets flipped around where you want that loyalty back, he's not renowned for showing it back. So
what, Boris Johnson or Trump?
Both of them.
Both of them. Yeah, that's right. Nadine. Oh, why won't they let me into the House of Lords when they let some unknown 29-year-old in? Yeah, Nadine, because he lied to you. He lied. The love of your life.
It's Google. It's Silicon Valley with their giant dials.
We should explain this. So if you don't know about this, Nadine Dorries, who was, don't forget, the Minister for Culture, Digital Culture, Media and Sport.
And in charge of all that regulation as well, which is even more shocking.
She doesn't know how the internet works. We know that. She doesn't know how Channel 4 works. She knows how many things work, not least how you get nominated by an outgoing prime minister to be in the House of Lords. She took Boris Johnson at his word. What a sweet summer child she is. Anyway, she tweeted today about the fact that she met up with these people at Google because the people were writing mean things, and when you typed in her name into Google, mean things came up. And she went up and met with them, and they typed in mean things. They typed in her name, and mean things didn't come up. And then when she got back home, mean things came up again. It's almost as though they've got different settings depending on your cookies. She doesn't know how the internet works.
Those big dials they've got in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, she said that they turn the dial.
The Google office just houses this massive dial.
Yeah,
you've got the boss of Google who just goes into it and just grabs it and just turns it slightly to the left.
And this is
Doris.
This is some absolute fuckwit who, she believes that I don't know, she's so stupid. It's kind of painful to know that she was so powerful and she got so far in life being that thick. But the fact that she thinks that the media's out to get them. I mean, she's got a job writing for the Daily Mail, and she gets paid a 6-figure sum every year for writing crap for the Daily Mail, as does her former, boss, Boris, the only person who would give her a job because he didn't care about how intelligent or capable anyone was. He just wanted loyalty.
Yep.
And God, she was loyal. Loyal like a dog till the end.
Oh, far too loyal. And of course, I'm looking forward to her book, The Plot.
Oh, the plot thickens, yeah.
Oh, I am there day one. I will go full bore into that. I'm not allowed to read it like live stream, reading it out loud, but I wish I could, because it would be a riot. Oh.
But Trump and Boris Johnson, two cheeks of the same arse. They're very, very similar. Both born in New York, both narcissists, both just use people and throw them away once they're done with them. Both don't settle their bills. Both like to earn money by borrowing it off other people or banks or someone, so they don't have to pay any, income tax like the rest of us. Just general scumbags all around. People who just wheeler dealers, kind of like Del Boy but without a heart. Evil Del Boys, that's what they are. And people fall for it. And it's kind of painful. And one of the reasons why we saw in the phenomenal by-election results last week how much the Tories didn't turn out. Someone said, I think it was A. Thompson or someone said, it's a bit like people who have been like conned for the double glazing or something. They tend to turn in on themselves a little bit because they feel ashamed and embarrassed that they've fallen for a con. And I think a lot of Tory voters and a lot of Brexit voters are feeling that way at the moment.
Not, of course, if you're Jake Berry.
No.
Again, I'll plug my own video there. Go check out Jake Berry's rambling plan to try and save the Tories with his impressive tax plan and save us from Blobonomics.
Blobonomics.
Yeah.
Blobonomics. Because the Bank of England's so freaking woke, man. God, that's just so woke. That the IMF, it's woke as hell, man.
I know.
Look how woke it is. The WTO, woke. That's what the W stands for. Woke Trade Organization. It's like, are you serious? Yeah, everything I don't like is woke. It's like, okay, mate. So just to go back to what we were talking about, Jim Jordan and the speaker, the fact there's no speaker, it means that the aid packages that are supposed to be going through for Ukraine and Israel and Palestine are getting held up.
Yep.
Now, who benefits from that?
Well, ultimately, really no one, to be honest.
No one? No, you can't think of anyone who might benefit from Ukraine not getting weapons.
Well, I think the thing is, Ukraine gets a ton of other weapons from us, from other European countries. So while obviously it is a big blow not to get weapons or an aid package from America, they are being supported by other countries through other means as well.
But there's one country that might,
Russia.
Yeah. And there's a country that has been interfering in the Middle East and Northern Africa for a very long time. it's a bit. It rhymes with Russia. Oh yeah, no, it's Russia. Yeah. And the instability in the Middle East is kind of on their side, and they've talked about how it's China, Russia, Hamas against the world, Syria, Iran, it seems a little bit evident to me, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, that what might have happened is that this speaker got nominated, in the secret ballot to go forward for the vote on the floor.
Tillerson, I believe his name was. But I think he's just lost a vote as well, I think.
Yeah, but like the minute his name is put forward, Trump goes out, he gets a phone call saying, hey, yeah, but I'm kind of liking this whole not being able to pass any bills. That's good, that. So can we just keep that going for a little bit? So then Trump obviously does what Trump does and gets on the phone and says, he gets on Truth Social or does the interview or whatever and says that he doesn't want this guy to be speaker because he's a rhino. He's a Republican in name only, don't you know?
Well, that's the thing. Most of the pro-Trump, the MAGA Republicans are against Ukrainian aid. Because they don't want American money spent in Ukraine, full stop, essentially. Even though, of course, this is Ukraine fighting for its independence, fighting from against someone who has illegally invaded them. And speaking of which, NATO getting larger again. By the way, this also popped up today as well. Turkey, one of the biggest roadblocks to Sweden joining we lost Graham. Oh no, he's back. Sweden, one of again Turkey.
I will explain what happened in a moment, but I don't want to.
Turkey, one of the largest roadblocks from Sweden joining, has now said no, you can join. So they have now signed off for Sweden to join NATO. However, Orban in Hungary has decided to not go ahead and say, I am going to allow Sweden to join NATO. And now he's said, actually, I'm going to put this through the Hungarian parliament. And a lot of people in Hungary are not very pleased with him at the moment because he's made that decision.
Will it go through?
No, it hasn't gone through yet.
Will it go through?
It will probably go through. It will probably go through.
But Trump said this week that Orban was the leader of Turkey.
Orban?
Yeah, he said he was the leader of Turkey this week.
Oh.
I don't think he knows what's going on.
No.
The mad woman in the attic.
But yes, that's another one of Russia's aims, apparently, was to reduce the size of NATO. And of course, invading Ukraine has only made it grow bigger.
Enlarged it. Engorged it. 32 NATO states now. Yep. A vast majority of which are in the EU, which is funny because we've been told for the last 7 years by Tories that the EU are our enemy.
Yep.
Even though most of them have signed a document saying that if we get invaded, they will sacrifice their boys and girls on our behalf. That's nice of them, isn't it? Considering they're our enemy, they're the axis of evil. We have Boris Johnson comparing them to the commandants of POW camps. We had these Tory ghouls calling it the EUSSR, which didn't go down very well in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, let me tell you. Which we're part of the USSR, and they're like, fuck off. We had the super chat, sorry. The Deck Morgan, thank you very much for the super chat. Former culture vulture Nadine Dorries spouting crazy crap. Halloween must be round the corner. Indeed, I'm really ramping up for Halloween. I'm quite enjoying it this year.
I've got my spooky background.
Yeah, if you want to know why I disappeared for a moment, I don't know if you care, but the tea bag had split in my tea, and I didn't notice, and I got a mouthful of tea dust in my mouth, tea leaves, and so I had to get rid of that. So that's why I turned my screen off.
Speaking, since we're on Ukraine as well, yes, we'll go over the vote that recently happened in their Rada, or their what they call their parliament there.
Yeah.
So they've just passed a very important vote banning the Russian Orthodox Church.
Oh yes, you were going to talk about this, weren't you?
Yes. For those of you who may or may not know, obviously the Orthodox Christianity split up into obviously there's Eastern Christianity and sort of Western Christianity. Western Christianity pretty much sort of on a whole stayed as one, but Orthodox Christianity is, you've got the Greek Orthodox Church, there's the Russian Orthodox Church, and then I think is there a third one? Officially, I can't remember now, but most of
Ukraine, the dominant religion is Eastern Orthodox Christianity,
yep,
which is 88% of the population.
Yep. So they've been following that. And if you know anything about the Russian Orthodox Church, particularly its leader, is very, very much in the pocket of Putin. Putin has used the Russian Orthodox Church to really cement his reign. He is regularly called the divine leader by the Russian Orthodox Church. And of course, when all this invasion happened, the Russian Orthodox Church said, hey, if you are a member of the Russian Orthodox Church, you should be welcoming these Russian soldiers in. They are coming to save you. They are coming to, release you, freedom from the evil, devil that is Zelensky. And very much so, they have, a lot of the priests in Ukraine have come up against, where do we side on?
Yeah.
I'm Ukrainian, I'm born Ukrainian, but the Russian Orthodox Church, which I'm a part of, is saying everything that I do not agree with. So there has been a huge split in the Russian Orthodox Church going on in Ukraine. It has now formed a new branch called the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, basically so that they don't have to be under the Russian Orthodox Church. And today, officially, there was a bill passed banning the Russian Orthodox Church completely from Ukraine.
Wow.
But
is this the Eastern Orthodox Church, or is it? Because
it's specifically the Russian Orthodox Church they've banned.
So they're saying they're still Eastern, but they're not Russian. They're Ukrainian. So I assume this. I mean, do they? Okay, I don't know, but I assume that they give their sermons in Russian, and that's Russian speaking, because there are a lot of Russian speakers in Ukraine for historical reasons. But yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and 72% of the population is Eastern Orthodox.
Yep. And like I say, this has only come about because you have had the fact that the patriarch in Moscow, very much in Putin's pocket, and he's been saying, I'm for this invasion. Ukraine is part of Russia. He's been saying all these pro-war. Let's take over Ukraine. Let's get rid of the devils. Let's get rid of all this unholiness. He's called for a new holy war to attract Russian followers to go and fight in Ukraine. So I think that this was a long time coming.
Okay, so you've got the Eastern Orthodox Church, and then split out of that are different sort of denominations, and one of them is the Russian Orthodox Church, another one is Ukrainian Orthodox Church, which was only officially set up in 2018. But lots of people moved over to it.
Yeah, and again, this is all because of the war. This is all because of the war in Ukraine. Since, of course, Russia started the whole Donbass thing
and invaded Crimea.
Yep, and took Crimea. This is what has caused that split. Originally, it was just all Russian Orthodox. No one really questioned it until the fact that you had the patriarch, and then you have instances where there has been.
So the patriarch's like their version of the Pope, isn't it? The person.
So you had an instance. I think it was in the great retreat from Kiev, the great skedaddle from Kiev. You had a Russian Orthodox monastery hiding Russian soldiers.
Yeah, and
supplying evidence and other information to these Russian soldiers, which may have contributed to war crimes as well. So yeah.
So now the Russian church has been officially kicked out.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's like a lot of the stuff that Putin hoped to achieve, in Ukraine is just not. It's just not worked out the way he wanted it to. Is it?
He's fallen on his sword massively. This whole invasion was just
hoisted by his own petard.
Yeah.
as they say. A petard was apparently like a medieval bomb. There you go. I looked that up once. By the way, while we're on air, the cross-examination has just begun against with Michael Cohen in the New York trial, and Cohen saying that Trump arbitrarily made up asset values, which is true. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Well, he told the IRS one figure, and he told the banks that he wants to borrow money off another figure, and you know, and there was several million in between. And then he said, oh well, you know, the price of anything is in the eye of the beholder. And my name, Trump, that carries quite a weight. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, I don't think he's going to get out of this
just
either.
in the chat here, Tom Emma, who was, before we went on there, was going to be the next speaker they had lined up. Apparently, he's now just withdrawn. So the quest for another speaker continues.
Oh my God. It's going to never end. And the thing is, you know, I mentioned earlier that I think that that Putin might have his, you know, finger on this because he's got Trump under his thumb, hasn't he? Well, fingers and thumbs tonight, but he has. Let's face it, Trump just, you know, is his little obedient lapdog, and it is very, very much in Russia's interest for America just to be dysfunctional, fight amongst itself. It's actually in the Foundations of Geopolitics by Alexander Dugin, which came out in the late 90s. You know, this guidebook for getting basket case at the time Russia up back on its feet, and it had things like cut the UK off from the rest of Europe.
Yep.
Annex Ukraine. That was one of the things listed in there. Annex Ukraine, get it back, and also foment social upheaval in the United States of America. And it's been very successful. And what's going to happen in a few weeks' time is the American government is going to shut down because they're not going to pass the funding bill, and it's only just had this sort of sticking plaster that was put on for 45 days. That 45 days is half up now, and this could be mean the whole world goes into recession.
But potentially. But I think what will happen is there is a temporary speaker, and I think they might just go, okay, temporary speaker, let's put this funding bill on the power. Let's put this on the floor because we know the consequences, what would happen. And this at the moment, everything that's going on in this is not making the Republicans look good at all.
Yeah.
And I saw a piece in The Hill talking about this. You know, is this the end of, or is this the start of the great MAGA purge?
Well, I hope so.
There's some insiders, according to that, are talking about this, using this as an opportunity to start using their nonsense, their craziness, that pointing the finger at them, saying all this that's going on is their responsibility.
Yeah.
And the next time it comes up to an election, use that to just get them out.
Brilliant. Well, Tom Emma was the guy who's he's withdrawn his attempt to be speaker. I mean, one of the things I read today is there was a Republican who said maybe we should get a Democrat in the speaker.
It is an idea, but the Republicans would never go for it.
You only need a handful of them to go for it.
Yeah. There's two ideas. There's two ideas floating around that can be done. There is either A, you put a Democrat in as speaker, or the Democrats vote present, which essentially lowers the bar that the Republicans would need to be able to get a speaker in.
Yeah.
So those are the two things that could happen. Now, if they go to the Democrats for either of those, the Democrats are going to want their pound of flesh. They are going to want something in return. They are not going to do this. You know, they are not going to help their rivals out for nothing.
Yeah.
But it does offer them a massive opportunity and a massive lever on this, because they could just say, okay, instantly, let's put the Ukraine funding bill, let's put the Israel-Palestine bill on the floor, then let's put the funding bill on. Then, you know, let's pass those bills. Then we can, you know, move on, hopefully, from this nonsense. But we'll see if that happens. But I doubt the Republicans would do it, because it is at that point, the Democrats would have a massive lever over them.
Yeah, absolutely, and good. I mean, they've shown themselves to be absolutely incompetent and incapable of governing, which is what the Tory party in this country have done. I mean, we're not talking too much about domestic politics on this show, but I did a video and Phil did a video this morning about Rishi Sunak's popularity a year, because it's been 1 year since he was appointed leader of the country, and his popularity in every single metric has gone down. Like everything, all his policies, all of his personality, charisma, trustworthiness, everything. My favorite one is the amount that people find him relatable to the whether he can relate to ordinary people. And I looked at the data, and it was 90% of those who gave an answer, those who didn't say I don't know, said no. 90%. Just to put that into context, when the same thing was asked about Prince Charles a couple of years ago before he became king, it's about 27%.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 times more people think that Rishi Sunak is out of touch, which is hilarious. Anyway, so we'll move on to the next subject that we were going to pick up on tonight, which is the subject that was the subject of the thumbnail of this show. Elon Musk is up to shenanigans.
The continuing downfall of Twitter.
Space Kevin himself. What's he done today?
Well,
I love the sigh.
Well.
Go on.
Well, you may remember when Threads launched.
Yes.
Because this is relevant. When Threads launched, you cannot get Threads currently in Europe.
No.
Because there are questions about the data sharing and the openness of sort of transferring your information over to from an Instagram to Threads. That there are questions still to be asked. Yeah. Hence why people in Europe still can't have access to Threads. I think you eventually will have access to Threads.
I have a question.
Especially in this case.
I have a question.
Oh.
Why is it threads.net and not threads.com? You think they could have bought the com?
I don't know.
Go on,
Threads.com might already exist. Who knows?
It does. Someone else has got it, and obviously
that's probably why it's .net.
Buy it off you for $5, and you say, piss off. Anyway, go on. So Trump, bloody hell. Threads hasn't launched in the EU because of problems with data and privacy.
Yeah. So GDPR, essentially, that's why it hasn't launched. And with everything that's gone on with the privacy on Twitter, there has been big questions about, hey, Musk, is Twitter, or X as it's now known as, is it still complying with GDPR? Because after all, remember, Musk's fired. He's gotten rid of all those teams. So is Twitter still complying with GDPR? Is it still complying with all these rules and regulations? Well, here's an answer. Here's something that happened recently.
Go on. With
the whole Israel-Palestine stuff that kicked off, the commissioner called, let me get her name, Theron Breton, who is the commissioner for all the digital stuff in Twitter, sent out a letter to all the social media companies. So it wasn't just X that got this. They weren't being singled out. They said, hey, in light of all this disinformation that we are seeing that's going on, we're writing to you to remind you of your obligations under law, that you must take care of this, that you have a responsibility to deal with disinformation. Now, bear in mind that because questions are being asked about Twitter's GDPR compliance, the EU has been heavily looking at what's been going on here. And now, because of this, they're looking at them even more. What's going on here, Elon? And this was Elon's response to the letter that had been sent to remind him of his obligations.
Yeah.
Elon Musk put in response to this letter, saying, "Our policy is everything is open source and transparent, an approach that I know the EU supports. Please list the violations you allude to on X so that the public can see them. Merci beaucoup."
What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Oh my god!
To which Theron Breton responded, "Vous merci. As you are well aware, your users and authority reports on fake content and glorification of violence. Wow. It is up to you to demonstrate that you walk the talk. My team remains at your disposal to ensure that DSA compliance with the EU will be continued to enforce rigorously." Musk then responds saying, "We take our actions in the open. No backroom deals. Please post your concerns explicitly on this platform."
Wow.
Which is Musk essentially saying,
"Please give me content."
He's basically saying, "Hey, look, I don't think we're breaking any of these rules at all. You know, everything's open. If it's all open, how can I be breaking any laws?
Yeah.
Right? If it's all open source, how am I breaking any laws?" And now they gave him until the end of this month, so it's the 31st of October, to fully respond.
Right.
If he doesn't respond by the end of this month, X is going to get charged 4% of its global turnover.
But that's not going to be much. That's not going to be much at the moment because he's lost so much money.
Well, to X, that could be a massive, massive loss of money.
Wow.
A massive loss of money.
Wow.
And now Musk is generally considering just pulling X from the EU. So if you have a Twitter account in Europe and you still are using it, enjoy it while it lasts, because Elon Musk might be about to any day just pull the plug on it.
Oh shit. Brilliant. I say brilliant, it's like it's a bit disturbing. So I mean, do you what's your take on all sort of Trump take Trump again? I got Trump on the head, on the brain. Well, on Musk taking over Twitter and destroying it. Now, I have the idea that because a lot of the money that he got for doing this came from Saudi Arabia, he was actually paid by some very wealthy and very evil people in the Saudi Peninsula, who Arabian Peninsula even, who basically put him up to it.
Yes,
they didn't like the fact that it was a way of people speaking truth to power.
Yeah, this was all in response to the whole Erman Khashoggi killings.
Yes,
if you remember those that happened. That was a big news item that trended for quite a while on Twitter. So them being able to take over in this and use Musk effectively as a puppet, it does suit them. It does suit them. So it does line up with their quite authoritarian leanings for wanting to sort of control Twitter in this regard.
But this is the thing as well, isn't it? That they've got the money to spare.
Yeah,
44 billion is nothing to them.
Yeah, like I say, it's being propped up at the moment by all that money. But for the question of how long, because you cannot just have just such a constant money sink, just going and going and going. And there was a conference happened, a digital conference where you had, I think it was the former head of Twitter, like safety, and the guy who was in charge of the harassment policy. Yeah. He did this hour conversation about this. It's very fun to watch. What's it called? TechCrunch, I believe it was called. But yeah, fascinating interview to watch. And then afterwards, who's the next speaker on? But the current CEO of Twitter, Linda. What's the full name? Linda.
Someone's going to tell us. Ernie Burns says in the chat, Musk is so out of his depth, it's going to end up like the Titan submersible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Linda Yankaro.
He has so much debt. He's leveraged up to his Elon balls. Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble really because a lot of his wealth is based on vaporware and companies that he didn't start, but he took over and gave the old razzle dazzle, which I admit he is very good at. He's a very good, slippery double glazing stroke used car salesman on just a whole nother level. And a lot of people fell for it. And yet, and again, I think probably out the embarrassment that, Tories don't actually go out and vote anymore. I think there's a lot of Musk stands who the scales are now finally falling from their eyes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So like someone 2 years ago who would have been bending your ear, going on and on about how amazing Musk was and how amazing cryptocurrency was and how they'd spent loads of money on NFTs because they were the future, and now it's just all turned to shit. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, told you so. I told you it was shit. I haven't had any apologies yet. I haven't had a single apology off anyone who voted for Brexit. Not had an apology off anyone who's bored me to death talking about cryptocurrency. Or told me that Elon Musk is a genius when he's obviously not. I don't expect an apology. It just might be nice, for at least one of them to say, yeah, Graham. Yeah, sorry for that, when I had a huge go at you about not believing in the Elon.
I did not believe in the whole Elon. I did not bow before the altar of the Tesla.
Well, it just, I don't know. That the whole Tesla thing blows my mind. It's
Tesla's freak me out. I mean, the fact that it's got a digital brake,
but also the fact that
me out.
I don't understand how it's so overvalued. Like for that, they were just a car company. Forget all the bells and whistles. They're a car company, and he's been lying about having self-driving cars every year. Next year, self-driving cars, Ollie. Next year, self-driving. Don't just wait till next year, self-driving cars. And I'm like, I wouldn't trust getting into a self-driving car. I just wouldn't. Not on the city streets. Not on the streets of Durham. There's too many things to go wrong. And you can't really. I don't know. You can't.
That's it. I think the technology's not there yet.
I don't think it'll ever be there. There's just too many things. There's too many variables.
I think it might one day get there. It might one day get there, but it's not there yet.
AI will always have a difficulty with context. And that's going to be the problem. And you see this with AI art and AI literature and just anything that you use AI for. It's very immediate. It's very in the moment. And it's almost like a parody of what already exists. It can only ape the information that it's already got. It can't create. The comedian Madden, what's his name, Conover, he gave a good explanation of it. He said it's just a very fancy predictive text. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's just predictive text with more bells and whistles. Yeah. But until it can create, it can never really think for itself, and that lack of context is always going to be a problem. Unless we get AI to just design all our buildings, because all our buildings that were designed in the last 60 years all look out of context anyway.
Yeah, and speaking of Musk stands,
oh god,
the responses to the to Thierry Breton were, of course, talks about saying you're evil, what you're doing, how dare she asked Elon Musk to follow the rules, saying that this is just censorship. How dare you do this? You cannot control Elon. The people are with Elon.
Jesus. Oh my god.
Yeah. So all the Elon stands have jumped in.
But not in our chat. All of our chat are lovely. You're all lovely, you lot. Yeah. Are you still on Twitter? Are you still using it?
Yes, just because I want to see it burn. Really with Twitter, I am the person of if a house sets on fire, I'm the person that just goes outside, grabs some marshmallows, and just starts just starts watching them toast because I want to see how
sitting there with your popcorn.
Yeah. I want to see how this all ends.
Right, so your Ollie approves on Twitter. See, I made all these slugs for people, where the name comes up, these little animations like this, the bowler hat man. It says Ollie approves. And my one just says Labour Social because I was every country, but I haven't used Twitter for so long now. I sometimes go on there to say we're doing a show or something, but no, I mean my interaction has just decreased over the months.
Yeah.
And I haven't missed it, honestly. I'm on Threads now. Graham David Hughes, at Graham David Hughes on Threads. I'm number 11 million. You get a number. If you were one of the first people to sign up, you got a number. So I'm like number 11,182,392 or something. It's great. And I got a blue tick straight away. And I'm followed by James O'Brien. And I didn't have to pay for my blue tick. I just got it. And because I had it on Facebook and it's connected, and they have an edit function, so you got like 5 minutes after you post a thread, and you can edit it for typos, and then after 5 minutes it's locked and you can't. And that is like, why didn't Twitter do that like 15 years ago? Why? Pete's Music says AI isn't evil, we can do without. What if it starts replicating Tories? Yeah, you won't be able to notice the difference. They've got no sense of context either. That's why you had the sight of Rishi Sunak asking a homeless man how his business portfolio was going.
I always say this whenever it comes up. I'm waiting and I'm gonna love to see the documentary that gets made about the downfall of Twitter, because I guarantee it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be fun to watch, to find out all the information that comes out on this. I still think there's information that's of stuff that's happened that we've never heard about. I mean, did you ever hear about when he was going on the firing spree about the guy he fired from Iceland?
No, was this the one who like tweeted him and he said you're fired, and then I can't remember. Go on. What happened?
So this was a guy, and he was quite important to like the functioning of Twitter because he'd actually written some code, I think, or something like that. So he was that important. If he was ever to like be let go, Twitter would have to pay him like an absolute fortune. So he was clearly on a list. You do not fire this guy at all, or let him go. And clearly, Elon did not get the message because he got let go. And they had a very public Twitter fight about, hey, why have you let me go? What's happening? And Elon Musk says, "Oh well, you must have been very good at all because I've fired you." And then, of course, one of his responses I think was, "Oh yeah, well I'll be expecting my severance package then."
Oh wow!
And Musk was like, "What? What do you mean severance package? What do you mean you're not going to get paid that? I've fired you. I don't have to pay that." To which then I think people behind the scenes went running to him and said, "Oh no, actually, you owe this guy a lot of money."
Fantastic.
So enjoy Twitter, I suppose. If you are in the EU, enjoy it while you've got it.
I don't think it's enjoyable.
Doesn't look like you're going to have it horrible.
It's been horrible for a long time now, a good year. I mean, it was never great, but I feel like Musk just gave the trolls and the bots just the run of the place, and it's been the center for disinformation about Israel, Palestine, and just the amount of horrific stuff and lies, like blatant lies that have been put on there. And now today, Musk was talking about trying to take down Wikipedia, because Wikipedia said mean things about him, and he wants to take away. My daddy didn't have an emerald mine in apartheid South Africa. It was in apartheid Zimbabwe.
To go after Wikipedia. And I'll tell you now, if he's destroyed Twitter, he's upset a lot of people about that. If he goes after Wikipedia, there's going to be even more people upset about him. That's for sure. And Anonymous has said if he makes a move against Wikipedia, then he's going to go on their hit list.
Why isn't he already on their hit list? I mean, come on. He's taken Twitter and turned it into 4chan.
Yeah.
That's what he's done. Like, he can fuck off. I mean, he's taken something that we all enjoyed, we all used, and he's just made it an absolute skip fire. for his own edification. And it's bizarre. Like, why would you ruin your mystique in that way? Do you know what I mean? If you built yourself up as this clever tech genius person, why would you just piss it all away? And the only thing I can think of is he's not that clever. He's
No,
a bit thick.
I don't think he is. I think that's been the big mystique about Elon Musk for a while. The idea that he's been this, super genius, deserving of this sort of massive sort of reputation.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't. All this Twitter thing has been very public. He can't sort of obfuscate it, or anything like that, like he does with SpaceX or Tesla. And the other thing you should look at is what happened when he was back in charge of PayPal back in the day.
But he wanted to change the name of it to X.
Yeah. He ended up being booted from that because he wanted it to be this everything app like he does now. And a lot of people are saying that that's the whole point of him buying Twitter, that he wants to do this.
I think he'd bought it to destroy it. And I also think that Trump has just thrown his oar in about Tom Emmer being speaker, who was like, Tom Emmer is a MAGA lunatic. Like, he is a proper brown tongue and MAGA up the arse of Trump so far that he needs a flashlight to see. And Trump's just turned on him and said, I don't want him to be in the race, and he's dropped out.
Yeah.
Trump, don't forget, isn't an elected representative of the Republican Party in any way, shape, or form at the moment. He's the guy who cost them not just the presidency, but also the House of Representatives and the Senate in 2020. And then in 2022, they thought that they were going to take back the Senate. They didn't. And they only squeaked past the line for the House of Representatives. Very unconvincing showing for a midterm, which normally goes against whoever's holding the presidency, whoever's in the White House. And it just didn't, because he's broken it. He's broken the Republican Party. They're just too busy fighting amongst themselves over who can be like the craziest. We're gonna have to wrap up soon, but Michael Cohen's testimony ended. That was quick.
Nope.
And apparently he said that Cohen said that he faked numbers to help Trump bid for an NFL team called the Buffaloes or something.
Oh.
The Buffalo Bills. They're reconvening in the morning. And the courtroom sketch of Trump looks absolutely bizarre. But there you go. On the BBC website, if you want to go check that out. Let's have a listen to what's in the chat. We got Ernie referencing the film Being There with Peter Sellers, 1979. Elon was projected on like Chauncey Gardner in the film Being There. He just said weird stuff no one understood, so he got away with it. I don't know if Elon was much. Do you know who I think of when I think of Chauncey Gardner? I think of Jeremy Corbyn. I really do. Because he's just like this simple gardener who would rather be in his allotment. And he says something about his flowers and everyone thinks it's really profound. But he's genuinely talking about his flowers. He's not talking about society or anything. And that's why I always challenge Corbynistas, and we're going to get off this chat pretty soon, so I can't get all the shit in the chat. But I often challenge them to quote that famous thing that Corbyn said. You know that line? When he stood up in front of all those people at Glastonbury and he made that speech, didn't he? Remember that speech?
Oh, was it 2017?
Yeah, I was there, and I don't remember the speech. So
I don't remember either.
Sarah says good night in capital letters. I don't know if that's because it's like, no, we're not going to talk about this. Graham, you need Michael Cohen on here. Well, let's see how he does getting Trump to lose his entire company. So this is interesting. So there's two trials going on at the moment. Basically, there's one in Georgia, which is pre-trial at the moment. That's why they're all flipping. And then there's the one in New York, which is the fraud trial. And the New York one is a civil case against Trump, so that he won't go to jail necessarily, unless he's found in contempt of court. Maybe.
But he has. Has he lost his business license, or did he get that over? Did he get it
No,
back?
it's been suspended, I think,
suspended,
and basically on he will appeal it. But if he loses that, it's not just that he can't trade in New York. The Trump name is registered in New York, so around the world it's going to have repercussions. There's a good chance that this time next year, Trump will be literally bankrupt and in jail.
Yep. Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
We can only hope. And then, knowing our luck, bloody Biden will cark it, and a month before the election, and we'll have Mike Pence as president of the United States.
Oh well, never mind. It's okay. We don't live there. It's fine.
330 million people, and this is the best you've got. Yikes. You can't. But yeah.
It's fine. We don't live there.
I suppose you could say
fine.
the same.
We've got our own problems to worry about.
We have indeed. But yeah, the Tories look like they're on the way out. Trump looks like he's on his way out. The Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine is gone. It's not just on the way out. It's gone. It's over. It's kaput. But yes, cheers.
Twitter on its way out, probably of the EU as well. It's exiting.
Xing. It's just exiting, isn't it?
Exiting.
It's funny because he wants it to be called X, right? But X is pronounced different ways in different languages. And I think in one of the languages, I forgot which one, maybe Spanish or something, but it's pronounced as a sh sound. So if you put a sh sound at the end of itter, you get shitter. And it's like, yeah, nice one, mate. You've changed the name of your company from Twitter to shitter. Slow hand clap for Elon Musk. Anyway, is there anything else that we missed? Did we cover everything?
Yes, I think we've covered everything. Yeah.
It's not easy getting through all this stuff in an hour, is it? There's a lot going on. But yeah, some of it's good. Some of it's very, very, very bad. Twitter is an X website. See what you've done there.
Yeah.
If it wasn't nailed to the perch, it'd be pushing up the daisies. It is bereft of life. It has joined the choir invisible. It has shuffled off this mortal coil. It is an X platform. It's an X social media platform. Yeah. So thanks to everyone in the chat there. Does Trump still own Douche Central? Yeah, probably. And cue the comments of Rent Free from the argument winners who are definitely not mad about being sidelined. From Matt the Sprat. I think that's because I maybe mentioned Corbyn, which I won't do again. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it. So anyway, Ollie, thank you very much for joining me for GEOSCOPE.
Cool, no problem.
You can follow Ollie on Shitter if you go to at Ollie Approves. It's Ollie with
follow me on Twed. Follow me on Tweds on Threads.
Are you Ollie Approves on Threads?
No, well? I am Bowler Hatman on Threads. I'm
gonna have to change your slug. I'm gonna have to get you a new slug that says Bowler Hatman. So I'll make that for next week. But I am Graham David Hughes on Threads. Please come follow me. I've had to sacrifice 20,000 followers. I've gone down from 22,000 followers or something on Twitter down to 2,000. So I'm gonna have to build it up again over a long period of time. But I'm willing to put in those hours because there's nothing left for me on Twitter. It's just doom scrolling through a hell site, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah. Anyway, Ollie, thank you very much for joining us. And,
thank you.
Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thanks for the super chats, etc. And in the morning, I will return with Morning Brew at 9:30, and then it's Prime Minister's questions at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So please join me for that. It'll be so much fun. Okay, until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Goodbye.